Bishop, why did you decide to speak to the parishioners of the Diocese of Grand Rapids now?
It's a continuation of my belief that the people need to be kept informed about what's going on. So it's been a while, and I just feel it's really important that I have this opportunity to communicate. Things have happened since November, so I really would like to have this opportunity to let people know how things are going and where things stand.
What's the current status of the investigation into reports of sexual abuse by clergy in the Diocese of Grand Rapids?
The Diocese of Grand Rapids is not alone. All 7 dioceses in Michigan are under investigation by the Attorney General's office. They want to go back to 1950 to see how the leaders of the church, the bishops, responded to reports of sexual allegations. And so that process is ongoing, and we have cooperated fully. And it's something that we want to do, and I think there's some benefits that come from it. The Attorney General's office has a hotline for anybody who has anything to report in the whole area of sexual abuse. We really encourage victims and survivors to come forward and let us know, so that, number one, if there's anybody who is still in active ministry, that they would be able to be removed from active ministry should the allegation prove to be substantiated. And then, of course, regardless, immediately we want to help them. So one of the first things we do is we offer them assistance in terms of counseling or group meetings or whatever it is. We feel that it doesn't make any difference, really, whether or not at that point, we have enough to go on. We want to reach out to them immediately and help them. And I certainly pledge to listen to all those who are victim survivors. I want to be helpful for them. I pray for them every day. And I want to make sure that the trauma that they've experienced, we can begin to help, not only by prayer, but by practical means.
What has the diocese done since 2002 to address clerical sexual abuse?
We, like all the other dioceses in the United States, have implemented the charter and its accompanying canonical norms, which means, first of all, we have a victims assistance coordinator. So if you call, you will be connected to this person, and this person will take your information, offer you the possibility of assistance, help that's needed in terms of counseling, and then immediately make out a report which is forwarded to our attorney who handles that, who immediately, regardless how old the case is, immediately will contact the civil authorities to make sure that this is something that has been properly reported, and to see that the proper channels are followed. I mean, people can always call the civil authorities first. I mean, we will do it immediately, as soon as we get the report, but they should be free to call whoever they feel very comfortable with. Then, of course, we begin to investigate, to try to get as much information as we can to make an adequate determination. And once we've gathered that, another thing that was established by the charter and its norms was what we call the Diocesan Review Board. This is made up in our diocese of 9 people, 7 who are lay people who are have highly regarded experience and expertise in their field, that will help us to sift through the material that we have obtained, and to give me, the bishop, a recommendation as to what needs to be done. And of course, if the recommendation is that this seems to be a substantiated allegation, then it is my duty, with every case regarding a priest or deacon, to forward that to Rome, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, because they are the ones who have competence for handling those matters within the church. And of course, we have the Virtus program, which our priests, our deacons, myself, every month I go through a training session.
What is the diocese doing to support survivors of clerical sexual abuse?
I think the first thing we do is we listen to them and we take them seriously. We want to make sure that they are immediately offered counseling, which is one of the most significant things, I think, that people will help them to deal with how they're feeling and what they've been through. So we continue that along as they continue to deal with the brokenness of their lives. And even if their lives are not broken, to make sure that they are in a good place and they're feeling well again. So I think that's the main thing. There are other variations on that, like group meetings and whatnot. We try to get the people the help that they need, and of course there's always the promise of prayers. The promise of prayers, certainly by me, and by our larger church community, as well as being willing to listen. I'm willing to meet with anybody who is a victim survivor. I want to listen to them. I want to support them personally, and really that's my pledge to do so.
Why are some priests who have been removed from the priesthood after credible reports of abuse still receiving a pension from the diocese?
Well, I think most people understand how pensions work. And number one, if you're in a pension plan and you're vested, you have a legal right to your pension. And those who administer the program have a legal responsibility to make sure that the benefits are provided.
What do you expect from the Pope's worldwide meeting later this month?
I hope that'll be a very, very powerful event. I hope it will be something that will help our church here in the United States move forward to address the things we need to address, especially with Episcopal leadership and maybe the problems that we have seen in the past in terms of maybe failures of that leadership. The first thing that the Holy Father wants done is he wants to make sure that all the bishops fully comprehend the depth of suffering of victim survivors and are familiar with their stories. He asked all the bishops who were going to be participating in that meeting to have meetings with victim survivors in their dioceses. This is pretty standard for the bishops of the United States. And the best way to do that is to listen to the stories of those who have suffered and those who are courageous enough to share their experiences with bishops who have a lot of responsibility in terms of leadership in that regard. The other thing is, the United States has been grappling with the whole question of the sexual misconduct of clergy since 2002. And I think we've made important strides.
Any final thoughts, Bishop?
I think my final thought would be that certainly in the time that I've been bishop of this diocese, and going back roughly to the start of the 21st century, that the Catholic Church in the Diocese of Grand Rapids has made great strides in providing for the protection of young Catholics in its institutions, in its schools, and in its parishes. And we can always do better, and we're always trying to do better. But I think that we have done things. We do work with all of those who have contact with our young people, and every year we are given recommendations by the audit team. And every year we try our best to implement those recommendations so that our child protection programs in parishes, in schools, grow stronger and stronger each year. And I think that is the trend that we want to go in. We want to get better and better at protecting our children.
If you were sexually abused or know of someone who was abused by a member of the clergy or another representative of the church, please call our Victim Assistance Coordinator at 616-243-0491 or the Attorney General of the State of Michigan hotline at 844-324-3374.